month about some concerns about dogs, and could we change our ordinance, and could that be enforced and everything, and Kurt basically said that we could change the ordinance to whatever we wanted to, but we are responsible then as the town to actually do the enforcing. But the sheriff department really is only concerned with, you know, vicious dogs and the safety of the citizens, but it would be up to us to, you know, add on to ours and then to enforce it.
And we are working on it. What I'd like to propose is that for next year, like I said, we're gonna be working on this. And what I'd like to do is, and I talked to Kurt too, and I explained, you know, I'd like to see all the dogs get licensed, you know, a minimal fee, $5 or $10 or something like that per dog. Then when the sheriff was called, or he was on scene, he'd know whose the dog was.
Is that licensed and shots, current shots maybe?
Well, to get licensed, you would have to show proof of all that stuff. And like I said, that'll be something that we're gonna all we'll be working on putting together. And that's, like I said, that's kind of in the process.
Sounds great, thank you.
Okay, anti-discrimination, anybody want to discuss that anymore? This anti-discrimination ordinance. That thing is huge, and we need to discuss it more. We're talking about a public meeting coming up. So actually we're gonna invite those folks back down to kind of give us a lowdown, because like I said, we'd have to go through a process to do the ordinance anyway. Okay.
When's the public meeting hearing?
You know, we're trying to get a date that's gonna work for us all, and we can, what would be a good date? What do you think? I'm thinking September sometime. You know, I think, you know, there's
over to the DUP
right,
building,
right.
so
And there's some other things we need to have on that, and if we could kind of start looking at a date in September, we could do that all. We'll kind of plan that way. Okay.
Can you talk a little bit more about the request last month for that? And I missed the part of what the request was related to, and
What do you mean?
The non-discrimination?
did you talk about the non-discrimination? Was that about what was on the agenda for last
Right.
month?
Yeah, that was when Brandy Balkan came in last month and discussed the possibility of us passing an ordinance that was non-discrimination for gays and transgender. As far as housing goes and employment, it does not allow for any lawsuits or anything like that. It's just,
and there's no enforcement.
no, it's just basically a statement that we as a town are accepting of everyone. And
My concern for that is that we could have many ordinances applied to our
True, that'll be some questions you could ask her at that public meeting,
okay.
you know.
And that this one may be under the EEO policy
not.
anyway, and would cover all of that. And that's what we'll talk about at the
Yeah, we'll talk
meeting.
about that, we'll bring that all up and kind of discuss that. So, you got that? Great. Okay, Mr. Van Dyke.
All right. So last time we were here, we discussed Buchanan's and their meters, and we worked out the 2 meters that work for the house and the business. That all worked out really well. I think everybody's satisfied with that. So the only thing that left an issue remaining was the meter that went to the shop garage that he has that's down on 3rd West, just down 3rd West a ways. So I went through all the ordinances that I could find that were relating to the water, and based on that, like in the 1983 ordinance, it says where practicable, the meter should be located in the public right-of-way, immediately adjacent to the property line. Okay, so that then would indicate that the meter should be located close to 3rd West. Okay. However, the other issue came up. Well, this water line that's servicing it comes from clear back over there. It's been an existing line and been there in place for approximately 35 years. Now this came from the tape on June 5th of 2008 where Dave was here to discuss the meter of getting approval with the town for his water connection. And in that meeting, he presented the thing, they discussed what he was doing for. There was some discussion about the single dwelling and some things like that. And then they asked where the meter was gonna go. And he indicated, you know, they had a plan there. And he showed it on there. And during this same meeting, 4 other people were applying. And because one person didn't have a plan that showed where the meter was located, they were not gonna accept his, and they sent him a letter for that, okay? The other 4 had plans showing the meters. So my presumption was that there was a plan that Dave presented showing the meter that the town had. And we weren't able to find one, and Paul was gonna look for one in the meantime.
I found that. You want me to grab it?
Yeah, okay, so maybe we have a plan now. So anyway, but based on the tape, it appears that Dave showed where the meter was gonna go. That it's gonna be in the location where the water was. It's been there for 35 years. And that was approved of where it was gonna be. That's on the tape. If you wanna hear the tape, we got it queued up so we can let you hear what it says.
Maybe you ought to make a copy for us all.
Yeah, that is our copy, so.
Yeah, so do you want my copy or?
I want to see it.
So, 5 copies, Chad. So he showed where it was, the town council voted on it and approved it, so that's where it's gonna go, okay? So it's pretty straightforward that they agreed where the meter was gonna go, and he's put the meter where it's gonna go. One of the other issues that was addressed at that time was a letter that the mayor had sent out telling Dave he had to install within 45 days. Problem with that ordinance is that it conflicts with your 2008 ordinance, based on my reading of it, because the 2008 ordinance gives you A through G things that need to be addressed before final approval can be given. So you can't issue and give final approval technically. I mean, you can do whatever you want, really. Okay. One of the things that the 1983 ordinance says is that if one of the members or somebody says something, it's null and void unless the council approves it. So if you decide as a council to do something different than the ordinance and you vote on it, I mean, that's your prerogative. Whether it stands up or not, if somebody challenges it, you know, I don't know. But if one of you's out there telling somebody something, it's really null and void unless the council comes in and approves it. And if the council approves what you said, then it's going to be okay according to what your 1983 ordinance says. So there's a two-way thing going on as far as these new constructions, because you have these items that need to be addressed, and it's kind of both parties, both the applicant who's building the home or doing the construction and the town kind of need to coordinate and work together as far as making sure that things are being complied with. So anyways, if you look on here and you put this up so it's upside, you know, north is going out here to the north, you'll see where Dave's written on here meter, right at the corner of the building. That's where the meter is. So he's put it right where he said, and it's right where they're approved. So I don't think there's any real issue that that's where the meter's supposed to be located. And that's where the town approved it, and that's where it's put.
Okay, you done?
And so anyway, so